So you decided to move abroad. That's amazing. But here's the thing. Actually making it happen involves way more logistics than what people realize. In part one, we covered the financial foundation and the legal paperwork you need to get sorted. If you haven't watched that yet, definitely check it out first because those steps need to happen before everything we're talking about today. Today's video is all about the practical preparation, the medical appointments, the packing strategy, the technology setup, all those little details that pile up fast. I'm sharing everything I wish someone had told me before I moved, including some mistakes I made that you can totally avoid. Whether you're moving in 3 months or you're still in the planning stages, this checklist will help you stay organized and avoid all the last minute panic. Let's get into it. First up, and this is crucial, you need to complete what I call the medical marathon. It also wouldn't hurt to start this process 3 to 6 months before you plan to leave. Plus, you know that securing appointments with doctors can be a hassle sometimes when it comes to scheduling, so please do not wait until the last minute. And get every checkup done. I'm talking about the annual physical, well woman exam, eye doctor, ENT, dentist, everything. God forbid they find something out of the ordinary, you need time to follow up with these visits and treatments. I highly recommend researching required and recommended vaccines for your destination country. Some countries require proof of certain vaccinations for entry, and others are just smart to have. It also wouldn't hurt to stock up on 6 to 12 months of prescription medications as well. Talk to your doctor about extended refills if necessary. This is especially important if you take anything specialized that might not be available abroad. It also wouldn't hurt to have a stash of your favorite over-the-counter medications like Tylenol, cold medicine, allergy meds. You just don't want to experiment with unfamiliar brands when you're sick in a foreign country. But I will say though, more than likely your destination country will have whatever you need on hand, but this stash is just to hold you over until you familiarize yourself with the names of the medications that they have. If you're a contacts wearer like we are, don't forget to have a couple months supply of those and your glasses, of course. I know it sounds obvious, but you never know. You might forget it. And for the ladies, stock up on birth control and Plan B. You do not want to be scrambling to find these in a foreign country where you don't know the system. If you have allergies, bring extra EpiPens or emergency medications. Even if your allergies aren't severe, it's just good to be prepared just in case they worsen in new environments. I'm not gonna lie, this next tip might sound superficial, but your wardrobe strategy is actually really important. If you know the climate you're moving to, pack strategically based on the actual lifestyle you're living, not an idealized version of it. When Lavon and I first moved abroad, we both had checked suitcases packed with everything that we thought we needed. That's totally understandable if you know exactly which country you're settling in long term, but we didn't and we did not need those extra bags. But here's the thing, we were in the early stages of moving from country to country, still trying to figure out which location was suitable for our needs and wants, and we learned pretty quickly that our packing strategy needed to change. So my advice would be pack about a week's worth of clothing based on your actual lifestyle. Are you super active? Are you spending your days hiking or outside at the gym? Then you're most likely going to be packing activewear. Or do you like to look put together? Are you working at cafes? You just want to pack according to whatever vibe that you're living. You don't need outfits for occasions you won't actually be going to and that require that attire. That's just a waste of space. You want to be realistic about how you're actually living your life on a daily basis. If you're heading somewhere with distinct seasons, you might need a little bit more variety, but just start with the basics you already have and buy locally the things that you need. The bottom line is be honest with yourself about what you're actually going to wear, not what you think you should wear or what you wore back home. You can always buy more clothes once you're settled, and honestly, shopping locally is always fun in my opinion. If this is helping you, hit that like button and subscribe for more expat content. Drop a comment and let us know what your biggest concern is about moving abroad. Moving on to tip number 3, master the downsizing process. I know downsizing is very overwhelming, but the secret is doing it gradually. Don't be like us and rush to pack up and move your entire life in a month. As fun and exciting as it was, we would have saved ourselves so much stress if we just started earlier. If you have time, sell valuable items on Poshmark, eBay, or Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace was our best friend. If it's last minute, just donate it or throw it away. Don't stress about selling everything. Honestly, you probably won't be able to. And this might be a little controversial, but I would totally avoid long-term storage. It's expensive and most people come back years later and throw everything out anyway. It's just not worth wasting money on, in my opinion. The next tip is tedious but absolutely essential. Digitize everything important. Scan all vital records to cloud storage, birth certificates, diplomas, medical records, tax returns, insurance policies. You'll need all of these for visas, apartment rentals, bank accounts, and countless other situations. So organize everything in clearly labeled folders. Trust me, when you're stressed and dealing with bureaucracy in a foreign language, you do not want to be hunting through random chaotic files. After scanning, I still wouldn't shred the physical documents, but I also wouldn't lug around pounds of paper either. It's just risky and annoying. My recommendation would just be to leave them with someone that you trust. Here's a quick but super important step that takes about 5 minutes but could literally save your life. Register with your local US embassy or consulate. Just by signing up for the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP, this is a free service provided by the State Department that lets them know that you're in the country. And why does it matter? If there's a natural disaster, political unrest, a family emergency back home, or any kind of crisis, the embassy can contact you directly with important safety information and help coordinate evacuation if need be. It also makes it easier for family and friends to get in touch with you during emergencies. So if something ever happens and your loved ones can't reach you, they can contact the embassy. And because you're registered in STEP, the embassy can easily locate you. And while you're at it, review the State Department travel advisories for your destination country. Understand the emergency services that are available, where the nearest embassy or the consulate is located, the emergency contact numbers, and what hours they operate. This literally takes 5 minutes to set up online before you leave or as soon as you arrive. It's one of those things that seem unnecessary until you desperately need it, and you don't want to skip that step or wait till that happens. Our next tip is to get local currency before you leave by exchanging money at the bank or currency exchange in your city for the best rates. Don't always assume that you can always use ATMs when you arrive. Besides, airport exchanges have terrible rates and high fees. You don't need a ton, just enough for like 2 meals and a taxi, but having that cash when you land eliminates one stress point. We're trying to make this transition as smooth as possible. Also, test your money transfer services before you actually need them. It just wouldn't hurt to understand the receiving country's banking restrictions, because some countries make it very difficult to move money out, so just plan accordingly. Have backup methods for moving money in different directions. What works for sending money to a country might not work for sending money back to the US. Next, we would highly suggest pre-booking your airport pickup. Do not wing it with Ubers or taxis when you're moving abroad. Trust me, you'll be exhausted, jet-lagged, and carrying way more stuff than your normal trip. So having reliable transportation arranged in advance will eliminate stress and ensure that you get to your new home safely. Remember to pack a few travel adapters. I cannot stress this enough. We'll leave some of our favorite ones in the description below. Before we move on, I want to mention something that will make your life so much easier. We've taken all of these tips, especially from part 1 and part 2, and organized them into a comprehensive downloadable checklist just for you. This isn't just a list, it's a step-by-step action plan with timelines, so you know exactly what to do. No more wondering if you're forgetting something important or scrambling at the last minute. We're offering it just for $5, and honestly, it's worth way more than that in terms of stress and mistakes it'll help you avoid. So the link for that will be in the description below. All right, let's keep going. Our second to last tip would just be to get your tech in order. Internet speeds abroad might be slower than what you're used to. Streaming services have different content libraries in different countries due to licensing agreements, which just means that your favorite Netflix shows might not be available. So you might want to look into having a VPN where it's legal to access US content. Unfortunately, many countries have a sort of catch-22 situation. You need a local bank account to get a visa, but you need a visa to open a bank account. So our advice would be to research your specific country's requirements thoroughly. Some visas allow you to open temporary accounts. Others require proof of funds upfront. Just understand the local banking culture. Free checking accounts aren't universal. Credit card acceptance varies widely, and cash is still king in many countries. Some countries even have restrictions on how much money foreigners can bring in or take out. So keep all of this in mind before you arrive. All right, before we wrap this up, I want to share some things that we learned the hard way, lessons that I really wish someone would have told us before we left. First, keep a U.S. address through a mail forwarding service. You'll need it for banking, taxes, and various services that require a U.S. address. Don't underestimate how important this is. Something also very important, if you move somewhere and it doesn't work out, that is not a failure. Think about the knowledge and experience you gained. You don't have to stay where you are. That's actually why we spend anywhere from 30 days to 3 months, depending on the visa, because we're testing things out before making big commitments. And just because your favorite travel vlogger loves a city, that does not mean that it's the right one for you. Everyone's priorities are different, so explore before making the commitment. What looks perfect on Instagram might not match your actual lifestyle needs. And finally, be patient with yourself. Culture shock is real and it comes in waves. Some days will be amazing and others will be really challenging, and that is completely normal. Give yourself grace as you adjust to this new lifestyle abroad. And there you have it, the complete guide to preparing your move abroad. I know it seems like a lot, but taking care of these details up front will save you countless headaches later. Don't forget to check out our checklist we created that will keep you organized during this process. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.